The 6 most notorious pirates ever to sail the high seas. Number 6. Blackbeard. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was an English pirate who operated around the West Indies and North American colonies between 1716 and 1780. He was not by any account the most successful pirate on this list, but he has gained an extremely notorious reputation over the years. Little is known about his early life, apart from he was born in Bristol, England, around 1680. He began his pirate life as a sailor on a privateer ship during Queen Anne's War, before settling in the Bahamas. Whilst in the Bahamas, Blackbeard joined the crew of pirate captain Benjamin Hornigold. They engaged in numerous acts of piracy before Captain Hornigold retired from piracy. Blackbeard then captured a French merchant vessel and renamed her Queen Anne's Revenge, equipping her with 40 cannons. He quickly became a renowned pirate. His nickname, Blackbeard, derived from his thick, black, bushy beard and fearsome appearance. He was also reported to have tied lit fuses, which were effectively slow-burning matches, under his hat to frighten his enemies during battle. He formed an alliance with several other pirates and blockaded the port of Charlestown, South Carolina, ransoming the port's inhabitants. Edward Blackbeard Teach's pirate career didn't last long. On the 22nd of November, 1718, following a ferocious battle, Blackbeard and several of his crew members were killed by a small force of sailors led by a Royal Navy lieutenant. Blackbeard was a shrewd and calculating leader who rarely used violence. He instead relied on his fearsome and notorious reputation and image. Over the years, he has been romanticized and become the inspiration for the archetypal pirate in many works of fiction. Number 5. Anne Bonny. Born sometime during March of 1697, Anne Bonny was an Irish pirate operating in the Caribbean and is still to this day one of the most famous female pirates of all time. The little that is known of her life comes largely from Captain Charles Johnson's book, A General History of Pirates. When Anne was around 10, she shipped off to the then province of Carolina in North America, which is today known as North and South Carolina. She then married a poor sailor and small-time pirate named James Bonny. The couple then fled the province to Nassau in the Bahamas. Once in Nassau, Anne started mingling with pirates in the local tavern. She met and fell in love with John Calico Jack Rackham, who was a notorious English pirate captain operating throughout the Bahamas and Cuba. Anne became a member of Calico Jack's pirate crew. She disguised herself as a man on the ship until it became clear that she was pregnant. Calico Jack then landed her in Cuba, where she gave birth to a son. But it wasn't long until she rejoined the crew, taking part in the pirateering and combat alongside the men. In October 1720, John Calico Jack Rackham and his crew were attacked by a ship under the commission of the governor of Jamaica. Most of the crew put up very little resistance, as many of them were reportedly too drunk to fight. All those that survived were taken to Jamaica, where they were convicted and sentenced to death by hanging. Anne Bonny's last words to Captain John Calico Jack Rackham before he was hung were, "Had you fought like a man, you need not have been hanged like a dog." Anne Bonny and another woman named Mary Read, who was also aboard the ship, was spared the death sentence because they were both pregnant at the time. Anne gave birth to a child in prison, and after that, nothing else is known about what happened to her. Still to this day, Anne Bonny is one of the most famous female pirates ever. Number 4. Sir Henry Morgan. Born somewhere in South Wales in 1635, little is known about Henry Morgan's early life. At some point, he left Wales for a life of privateering in the West Indies. Privateers were effectively pirates that just operated within the legal permission of a specific government. In this case, in 1667, Henry Morgan had a license from the English government to attack and seize Spanish vessels. Morgan subsequently conducted successful and highly lucrative raids on many Spanish targets, getting a notorious reputation. In 1671, Henry Morgan attacked Panama City. Despite the governor of Panama being forewarned of the attack, Morgan still managed to win the battle against Panama's troops. Panama's governor planned to burn down the city if his forces lost. When he realized Morgan had won, he ordered his captain of artillery to burn the city. It took Morgan and his men an entire day to put out all the fires. And by that point, only a few stone buildings remained. Much of Panama's wealth had been destroyed in the fire, making Henry Morgan's efforts to take the city barely profitable. The Spanish were furious at Henry Morgan's attack on Panama City. They had only just signed a peace treaty with England and demanded Morgan be arrested. Henry was summoned back to London in 1672, but when he arrived, he was treated as a hero by the people. Just 2 years later, he was knighted, becoming Sir Henry Morgan. He then returned to Jamaica and was awarded the title of Lieutenant Governor. He then went on to purchase 3 large sugar plantations and lived out the rest of his life in Jamaica, dying at the age of 53 in 1688. Number 3. Sir Francis Drake. Sir Francis Drake, born 1540, was an English sea captain, privateer, slave trader, naval officer and explorer. Drake carried out the second circumnavigation of the world in a single expedition from 1577 to 1580, and was the first to complete the voyage as captain while leading the expedition throughout the entire circumnavigation. Queen Elizabeth awarded Drake a knighthood in 1581. He also later gained the title of Vice Admiral. Sir Francis Drake was second in command of the English fleet during the battle against the Spanish Armada in 1588. He died of dysentery in January 1596 after unsuccessfully attacking San Juan in Puerto Rico. Sir Francis Drake's adventures made him into a hero for the English, but his privateering led the Spanish to brand him a pirate, known to them as El Drake. King Philip II of Spain allegedly offered a reward for Drake's capture or death of 20,000 ducats, which would work out today at around $8 million. Number 2. Bartholomew Blackbeard Roberts. Bartholomew Roberts, born in May of 1682, was a Welsh pirate who raided ships off the Americas and West Africa between 1719 and 1722. He is regarded as one of the most successful pirates of the golden age of piracy. During his reign of terror, he successfully captured and plundered over 400 ships. He was originally born John Roberts, but changed his name to Bartholomew. In 1719, he was a second mate on the slave ship Princess, serving under Captain Abraham Plum. In early June of that year, the Princess was captured by pirates. Roberts and several other members of the crew were forced to join the ranks of the pirates. The captain of the pirates, Howell Davis, was a fellow Welshman. He quickly discovered Bartholomew's talent as a navigator and took to consulting him. Roberts is said to have been reluctant to become a pirate at first, but soon came to see the advantages of his newfound lifestyle. Captain Howell Davis was killed by the Portuguese Navy during an attempt to kidnap and ransom a local governor just a few weeks after Bartholomew's recruitment. This meant the pirates needed a new captain, and somehow Bartholomew Roberts had managed to earn the respect of his crew in just a few weeks. He was elected as the new pirate captain. Captain Bartholomew Blackbeard Roberts then went on to successfully capture over 400 vessels across the Atlantic Ocean, cementing his name in history as one of the most successful pirates ever to live. Number 1. Ching Shih. Ching Shih is one of the most notorious and successful pirates ever to live. At her peak, she commanded over 300 ships that were crewed by over 20,000 pirates. She entered into conflicts with major nations and organizations such as the British Empire, the Portuguese Empire, the Qing Dynasty, and the East India Company. Her achievements are even more impressive when you consider that she was a female pirate captain in the early 1800s. a time when it was difficult for women to achieve any kind of power, let alone become one of the greatest pirates ever to live. Ching Shih was born around 1775 in the Guangdong province. In her early life, she was a Cantonese prostitute who worked on a floating brothel. In 1801, she married a notorious pirate named Ching Shih. He controlled the Red Flag Fleet. During their marriage, Ching Shih fully participated in her husband's piracy, learning and understanding how to become a successful pirate. In November of 1807, Ching Shih died in Vietnam at the age of 39. Ching Shih immediately began maneuvering her way into filling her late husband's leadership position. She consolidated her power by forming close relationships with her late husband's most powerful family members and allies. She then controlled the Red Flag Fleet's 300 ships and over 20,000 pirates. She enacted a strict code of laws for all her pirates to follow. These laws were things like anyone giving their own orders that didn't come down from Jing Shi, or anyone found disobeying the orders of a superior, was to be beheaded on the spot without trial. Ching Shih went on pirateering, robbing towns, markets and villages from Macau to Canton. In January of 1808, the Chinese government tried to destroy her fleet in a series of fierce battles. However, Ching Shih managed to pillage and take over many of the Chinese government ships. During this time, Ching Shih also faced many threats from rival pirates, but for years, the Red Flag Fleet under Ching Shih's rule could not be defeated. However, in 1809, Ching Shih's fleet suffered a series of defeats inflicted by the Portuguese Navy in the Battle of Tigers. Then, in the Red Flag Fleet's final battle in 1810, Ching Shih surrendered to the Portuguese Navy on January 21st. The Chinese government offered amnesty to all pirates who agreed to surrender, and somehow, in the negotiations, Ching Shih and her pirates managed to keep all of their loot. Ching Shih used her wealth to open a gambling house. She then went on to serve as an advisor to the Qin dynasty during the First Opium War with the British Army. Ching Shih died in 1844 at the age of 69, in her bed surrounded by her family. To die of old age was an incredibly rare thing for any pirate to achieve. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Comment down below which pirate was your favorite and why. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.